Hey, what's up guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome to our Thursday stream here. And today what we're going to be focusing on is deck building. And that requires us that, basically we need to figure out a team that we can use to take out our bosses here if you don't have the event team. I wasn't able to get the event team, so you can take a look and see what I've got going on here. I had the two ultra rare cards from when I pulled from the vault. And then I pulled another event card from the trophy bonus. And so I am running with two event cards and two ultra rare cards, and I have Ray in here as sort of the third card in there. Although I had Ray in there just for the initial gem spawn, it might actually be a little bit more effective if I actually had another event card in there, like the support card, for example. But right now, this team is working okay for me, and I do have other options, but we are going to explore and take a look at some options here. So we've got Vishal and Chimeng On and Candy Spim, Don Li Xiao, and Doug Carfini, and the Reaper. Welcome to the stream here. And so let's see. So you use the crusade keys, keep the timer moving. So I'm not sure how you guys are doing this particular event. I'm doing okay. It doesn't feel like a lot of people are playing really hard the first couple of days. I'm not really that far in my bosses right now. You can sort of see I'm only at 253 in one of the bosses. I haven't even started on the other one just yet. So I'm able to stay in in bronze still. So that's actually kind of nice. Hokey Bird, T-Bone After Dark. It's not really that much later than my normal stream, but it is dark now because of the time, because of the daylight savings time, so it does feel pretty dark here. So Lena and Angel, welcome to the stream. All right, so let's take a look and sort of see. I'm just going to show you like what I've been doing. So I'm at the point right now where my legend boss is just right between where it's doesn't have quite enough health for my main team, and so I kind of end up taking out in a full hit. And so I thought this would be a good time to kind of also show some of the other options that you could potentially go with. And so Queen Excelsior, you need help deck building and learn how to hit the new deck. I could help you with the new deck, definitely, but since I don't have the full deck here, it won't make a lot of sense until I do get it. But it's not going to happen today for sure, just because the shop isn't what I like. So Doug Carafini, 3 MCs with 2 URs. I think if you were to run 3 Master Collection cards before you start prestiging, you might get to a point where you end up taking out the boss on turn 1, and then you don't actually get the overkill for the overkill boss and the ultra kill boss. And so you're going to have to adjust a little bit, where I think like having 2 ultra rares and not so many Master Collection cards is going to be helpful. And so, so we'll take a look here, but I'm going to show you a team first that for anybody who doesn't have the current event team, one thing I wanted to remind you guys is that the Stifling Pandora is a card that uses the Grail element, and except instead of calling it Grail, it casts what you call persistence. Okay, so it's the same mechanic, and this one allows you to get persistence up to 20 stacks. So that means you can get 20 power gem 3s. It's pretty powerful actually. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how this works. Ideally, you would have 3 support cards here to really speed up the process. 2 support cards will work, but it's going to be slow. And you notice I don't also have my ultra rare card in here. I actually have the support card, because the support card, for the most part, is supposed to dispel traitor. But I'm at level 253 now, so the skill is now at level 6. So it's going to be a little bit dicey here, because I'm not able to dispel it as often. And the thing is, I'm going to lose if I don't hit this now. So I need my immunity, which is really a shame because I needed to use it up before I was ready. And let's see. So I'm hoping that I could also get a little bit of a heal. I only have 6 stacks. That's not quite enough, and that's really a shame. So this is going to be, yeah. So this one doesn't doesn't work out well. I'm just gonna quit out here. This is terrible. That was a terrible showing. Let's try this one more time. So Trader really sucks. And at over 250, level 250, you just saw how terrible that was when you can't dispel. So I might need to put in 2 of them, but I think 1 is supposed to be enough. Like, this is how it's supposed to work, right? You're supposed to be able to get this working with just the 1 card. Anyways, so don't forget to exercise your your battle skills as early as you can. And I've tested it out. You'll want to actually do 12 stacks. So 12 stacks is going to be ideal in terms of time efficiency and also getting enough damage. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to get the stack up to 12. This is going to give us also enough heal for the next 4 turns. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use the support card's ability 1 turn before the persistence stack times out, so that we can also get some immunity and also additional bonus. So we're going to go ahead and activate this. You could actually activate it 2 or 3 turns before. It doesn't really matter because you're going to have that status be available for 3 turns anyway. So now that you see this chevron, it's going to be available for 3 turns. And this is when you're going to be able to create, up to, I guess, 8 Power Gem 1s. So it does help there along with the 12 Power Gem 3s. And this is going to help you then get the overkill bonus for the boss. So I used 2 keys there because that first time wasn't that great, but this is how you can get through the legend bosses. It's slow. It definitely is very, very slow, but it is an option for anybody who is looking for a team that doesn't have good options there. And it just so happens that it is available in the shop as well. The previous event is available in the shop so that you could choose to get it if you want to. So we got Robert and Zuzu MacDuck. Welcome to stream here. And you're using the support ultra rare card Magma, okay, even and Sisyphus with a 3 attack deck. Could you improve? So if you're using, so Sisyphus is going to be it's going to give you like some power gems, but it only really gets more if you have some stacks of persistence available. And I'm thinking, so if you have the event card, you have the ultra rare card and a support card. I guess I could also build that out, right? So if you have the ultra rare card and you have the event card, so the difference is you have Magma and yeah, I suppose you could also use Magma, right? So you can use that, and you're saying that you have a support card, ultra rare card, event card. And if you have Magma, I wonder what would be better, right? Like, and that's a 3 key. Like, you need to use 3 key, a 3 attack. Like, when you say 3 attack deck, I'm assuming you're saying it's a 3 key attack deck. And so I think we could help you improve there. And so the question is whether or not you should use Sisyphus. So Sisyphus is the event card, and it creates 4 Power Gem 1s. And the thing is, at this point, like, I wonder if it would be better for you to just use the Grail ability. Like would it be? It might be better to simply do this. So I have 3 support cards, but the thing is, if you use an ultra rare card, you're not gonna be able to dispel Trader if you're going up against a legend boss. But if you're going up against like a overkill boss, I think this is going to give you better damage overall, just because you're gonna get a lot more Power Gem 3s. You're gonna get a lot more Power Gems basically than using Magma. Magma can only get you 4 Power Gem 4s, which in comparison to like potentially 20 Power Gem 3s, like that's not even close. It's gonna take you longer. And so I guess you use Magma to for activating Relic, or Sisyphus for a Relic. Yes, I mean, yes, but I think I'll have to take a look at your cards, but I think taking out Magma in this case, if you have Stifling Pandora, might be a better option if you're looking for another option there. So Nathan, welcome to the stream here. All right, so let's see. So Queen Excelsior, yeah. So let's take a look at your card since you asked first. Queen Excelsior. Yeah, and we're gonna have to talk about how to use this deck. It's really simple. Like just on turn 1, if you don't take out the boss, activate your ultra rare card, get hit, and then on turn 3, activate everything else, and you're good to go. So let's take a look at your cards here. Let's see if we can see if you have it in the first slot here. So Fire Commander number 1. So you've got the ultra rare card and 2 support, and then 2 event cards. Okay. Yeah, that would be fine too. We could also play around with that, but let's take a look at your commander cards. So I'm in a similar situation. My Fire Commander deck isn't the greatest, but you've got the Revenge's Source. So if you got the Revenge's Source, you're gonna be able to create 8 Power Gen 4s, which by itself is also gonna be really, really good. And this will work in the other half of your bosses. So like if you go up against any human bosses, you're gonna want to bring this card in for sure to get the killer bonus skill. So I think that you'll want to consider putting this card in your deck anyway, and you get 8 fire power gen 4s immediately. And so I think that's just like, I think that's just something that you should consider doing. And so if you have that, then you could probably just update your team to like for this deck, you would take out one of the support cards for the ultra rare card, for ultimate form that you have, and then what you would do is you would activate your ultra rare card first, and then get hit. Then you activate, like I said, everything else, and then you're going to be able to deal a lot more damage that way than just this team right here. So you have a power gem creation possibility, so you definitely want to take advantage of that, right? So Revenge's Source is something you should just keep in anyway. And with that in mind, it shouldn't be like, you shouldn't have too hard of a time with non-prestige teams. But if it is going up against a human boss, then you should have no problem getting like 100% or like the maximum overkill with that. So that would be the improvement I would like to see you try out and see if that makes a difference. And I think the Reaper is next. The Reaper MX. All right, so let's take a look here and see. And so we've got a team that uses, Prometheus. And we've also got Ra as well as Thoth. Okay, so that would be and then you're using Magma Ventrix. And so that would power up the team quite nicely. And it's interesting, you're using Ignis Soza. So Ignis Soza is a Generation 2 hero. So you've got three of them here. And I'm not sure that you're getting the most benefit out of it. I'm not sure if this is the team you are using. So I'm going to take a look and see if there's more teams set up here. Because while Ignis Soza is a nice gem destroyer, it is a Gen 2 hero, and you've already got 2 of them in the form of Ra and also Thoth. I almost feel like you might want to even take out one of, like, you definitely don't want to be running 3 Generation 2 heroes, just because you're reducing your damage by way too much. And so let's take a look at your Fire Commander deck. Okay, so Prometheus is going to create, let's see, I have to remember. So it creates 6 Power Gen 4, so that by itself is great. And then you got Sisyphus, which is going to create 4 Power Gen 1s, and then creates additional ones on the next turn. So the way to play this is, if you can activate a 1 turn before you plan to activate everything, then you can get 8 Power Gem 1s, and then you activate Prometheus. And you have one. Okay, so you've got just the one support card for Stifling Pandora, so that's not gonna work well. So I would say, given what I see here, you got two support cards here, and you might want to try putting in Prometheus, Sisyphus, Magma Ventrix. So that's three, and then one Flame Blessed Altern. So that's four Gen 3 heroes, and then you can put in Thoth as your fifth card. So you don't need to have both Ra and Thoth. I think that by having Sisyphus and also Prometheus, Magma Ventrix, Flame Bless Altern, and then Fireflight Thoth is going to be good enough. In fact, I'm going to build a team similar to it, and I'm going to show you how. I don't have Prometheus, but I'm going to build a team that's similar. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. So I mentioned that what I want to see is Prometheus, and then you have Sisyphus. You don't want that to be leader though. And then you have the support card. And I think what I said is, let's change this by power. Magma Ventrix. Okay, so we can put in Magma Ventrix in here. And then in place of Prometheus, I'm going to put in another Magma Ventrix. And then for your fifth card, you would then use Thoth. Okay, and then I'm going to keep the relics that's the same here. So now let's go ahead and try this out. So what you've got here is, but you need, this really only works if you can get 5 stacks of persistence, which you won't because you're not going to be able to get that. So you're really just going to be depending on this. So this one is actually not going to be that difficult to play, but let's see how much damage we can deal with that setup. So this is the setup that we just created, and let's see how this works. So some things that to consider is like if you can't get enough damage for the 100% overkill, you might want to consider like how you can do some chip damage. Like right now at 13 billion, and I'm just curious how this is going to work. So I don't have anything else to power up my team, so I'm just trying to think like what I need to do. I don't think there's any restrictions, but I can power up my relics. And so one of the things I could do is, well, I'm really just going to be wasting it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try this out and see how this works with just this setup and how much damage you can do. So keep in mind that we have one of the cards on the team is a Generation 2, so we're definitely losing damage here. But we do have, like this team actually works really well. It deals quite a bit of damage right there too. So you can see that this is actually a lot easier than the team I did earlier. So this was able to deal about 62 billion. And keep in mind, I'm using Magma Ventrix, which has 2 less power gems, and you have Prometheus, which actually will create 2 more. So you're going to be able to do more damage there as well. It's going to depend largely also on your relic, to be honest, but it's going to be similar. So the Reaper, I would change that. I would change your deck to be closer to what I just showed you there. That is probably going to give you more damage overall based on the team that you have. Jim Paulson, nice to see you here. And let's see. Nathan Vogel, you are looking for some help as well. Okay, so guard Percy Moon. So let's take a look here. Yeah, and Reaper, let me know, like, give it a try and let me know how it works out for you. I expect that it's actually going to be a pretty quick team too. You notice I actually wasted some turns there, which I didn't need to. That's actually a turn 2 deck. Like the one I just built is a turn 2 deck because there's no dependencies. So just basically activate everything on turn 2 and you should be good to go. All right, so guard Percy Moon. And I think the way that I'm able to show, if I can show the team, I definitely will try and do that. I think it helps a little bit more in kind of showing how it works so that after theory crafting, I could then test it out to actually get the damage out there. All right, so you have the Blitzkrieg, but it doesn't get, because this is Immortal Killer, this bonus doesn't get activated. So I'm not sure if this is the team that you're using, but let's take a look. And so Okay. Yeah, I don't think you'll want to use I don't think you'll want to use the rainbow team. I've talked about that in my latest my previous video talking about the ultimate forms and just kind of feeling about like uh, it just isn't a great card to use. All right, so let's. Oh my god, this lag is ridiculous. Okay, so I don't see what I was looking for. So let's take a look at your fire card collection first. We'll start with the commander. And let's see if there's any other comments that I need to respond to. So Chromosucks, you're still going to be 100 dust short. Unless you get 9,000 event points, we can get a deck. I see. Well, yeah, so hopefully did you try getting the other vault, because you can get Master Collection dust on tier 1, so in case you haven't tried that yet, you could also do that. Okay, so Jim Paulson, I'll take a look at yours. I can't see group 2, so I can only see group 1, and so whatever deck you're using, you're gonna have to put into group 1, otherwise I'm not gonna be able to do anything about it. All right, so in terms of your commander cards, I can see that it's definitely less powerful than your Slayer options, but you do have 2 Master Collection cards, so that's good. Unfortunately, it doesn't really do a whole ton for you, but let's take a look at your Slayer option. Okay, so that's what I assumed. I didn't see I didn't see the Despot's Despair, so I assumed that that's why you put in the Blitzkrieg Beasts. So if you're putting that in, then the problem here is you're actually going to be losing out on your damage overall if you use more of the Slayer cards, because you're not getting any ultimate bonus. And so while you can get a lot of power gems there, I feel like if you don't use your ultra rare cards, you're losing out there, because you need to have the commander bonus. And so now let's take a look at your team again. Let's take a look at the setup, because I think I saw a setup there that might work well. And using Ray as leader is definitely the right way to go. And so let's see what I saw here. So you should at least take out one of your support cards for the ultra rare if you're worried about trader, then you can leave one in, but you have 2 ultra rare cards, so you should definitely put in there. Like, that's 2 13 commander bonuses. So your first team right here, this one is, after all that, I think this looks like the best setup for me. The only other thing I'm thinking about is whether or not you should just replace the Laurel card with Prometheus, so that you can get 6 Power Gen 4s. 6 Power Gen 4s is still going to be a lot better than 8 Power Gen 1s. And the difference here is the 5 commander bonus. So you're trading a little bit, but I feel that having Prometheus here might actually be better. You might actually get a little bit more improvement. And I also see that you have Slayer relics in here. This is where I would say you're splitting up your damage through the relics a little bit too much. So let's take a look and see what your fighter commander relics situation is like. So let's see if this one is the one that so that one is only if corrupt is on the team. And how about this one? This one is if a god is on the team. So you should put in Pandora's Box. So you should have Pandora's Box and the 2 Molten Greatswords, plus your Staff of Ray. And then I would just put, I guess you could put in the Lion's Pride in there for additional power gem spawn. But I would recommend taking out one of your Slayer relics, put in Pandora's Box, so that you can power up your commanders. This is, for this particular setup, you want to power up your commanders rather than your Slayer cards. And so you want to reduce the number of Slayer relics you put in here because you're diluting the overall damage output. And so I think this would be the kind of setup. Change it out for Prometheus and let me know how it works out for you. Okay, so the next one is next one is Jim Paulson, so Dark Arcane X. So hopefully you've had a chance to change out your cards by now, because like I said, I will not be able to access your group 2. And also there's another option I wanted to show you guys that I was building, which actually works pretty well in quite a bit of situations. So let's see what we got. So that's Fire Slayer, and for your commander, that looks very similar to what I was recommending just earlier. So that looks good. And now you're using Stifling Pandora, which is a good option if you don't have like a fast attacking deck. Then that would be definitely a good way to go. But my concern is whether or not you are losing out on other possibilities for damage there. So let's see. So you got Prometheus, Magma Ventrix, and I think I saw Thoth or Ra in there. So I saw Ra. Okay, so you're using Ra, so those are the 3. And for the other cards here, so I think definitely want to use Prometheus, Magma. So that's basically 10 power gem force right there. Sisyphus is going to give you additional force. That's going to be 14. And then the problem is you're losing out on additional commander bonus without having Flame Blessed Altern in there. But because you don't have if you don't have the event card, so you won't be able to benefit from it anyway, but you lose out on Traitor Dispel, and then you also don't have the immunity. So if you don't need it, then I think Stifling Pandora sounds fine. So that's the commander option. Slayer option wise, you got Despots of Despair, so you should build a team around that. So what I'm going to show you is a team that you should build using Fire Slayer, because that's going to give you half the time enough damage that you can take out, because Despots of Despair is actually a card with Noble Killer, and so you want to use him, and then you've got Rodash, so you want to do that, and then let me see, if you do that, then you should already have a Pentarch gem for Ray. I would highly recommend that you ascend her if you can. Then you would have Ray, Despots of Despair, and then Rodash, and then Flame Veil Corruptor. Or I think you could also take that out. So you should use at least Ray and Coral, Despots of Despair, Rodash the Brutalizer, and you could put in another Ray, because Ray is also a Slayer plus a commander. So I think you could use those 4, and then sort of for your 5th card, you could then use you can pick any of these cards. You could choose to use Ra, but I'm not sure if the additional power gem force is going to be worth it. I think you should put in Prometheus. For your 5th card, you put in Prometheus. So two Rays, Rodash, Despots of Despair, and then 2 Rays, Prometheus, Rodash, and Despots of Despair. That's going to be the team that is going to give you pretty good damage output as well. So if you take a look at my team here, I built one similar to that. So I have 2 Rays, and then I put in Laurel there because that is that gives me power gem spawn on turn 1. So I'm going to show you how this works. So let's take a look, and I'll take on an overkill here. So let's use this team so I can show you how this works. Okay, so the reason why I put 2 Rays, because Ray creates power gem 1s on turn 1, So I got 8 right there. Plus Laurel also creates power gems on turn 1. And also Despots of Despair as well as Rodash also create power gems on turn 1. So this is my setup here, and I'm able to get... And because it's against a Hippolyta, I have the additional Slayer bonus, so you can see how much damage I'm going to be able to deal with this. So you can see here, I am... Well, I mean, the thing is, my Despots of Despair does have 3 pink stars, and it's also 5 times awakened, and it's fully maxed out. So that's going to be a little bit more damage than you'll be able to see. But my setup here with that, I'm able to do on turn 1 over 230 billion damage against against noble enemies. And so don't forget to use Despots of Despair if you can. And so Heinhama, I could take a look at your cards if you like, but I don't know what your in-game name is, so you're gonna have to let me know. Okay, Dilla Chang, 85. Welcome to the stream here. And Doug Carafini, you're hoping for the ticket for... Yeah, I don't know if they have that. I think they only have that option in like cases where you have trading available, right? So like if you look in here, I don't think they gave you an option where you get 20 card pulls for getting to 2 stars. Yeah, that's usually if they only have the trading available. So unfortunately that's not sometimes available. So Ronald Donovan, I can take a look. And so let's see, Ronald Donovan is the in-game name. Okay, let's take a look. Ronald Donovan. Yeah, so sorry, not keyboard. Ronald Donovan. Yeah, so this event, it's a little bit difficult as well for me just because I don't have the greatest commander cards, but at least I'm able to use some of my Slayer cards to compensate for it. And also I think that, if you have the Master Collection card from the previous event, it's actually really good. Like I was really torn. I'm really torn on whether or not I should just spend my 1,000 gems to pull a couple tiers from the previous vault, but with only 1,000 gems, I really don't feel like that is going to get me sufficient power up. Whereas I would like to try my luck at actually getting the missing Master Collection card for me for this event. So that's my goal here. So your fire team here, if that is what you're using for the noble one, that's okay, but you need to put more commander cards in there. Commander events is funny in this way that you need to put at least, you want to at least get your commander bonus to be above 10, and it's really going to make a big difference. If you have just a single raid with the 4 times commander bonus, it's not really going to give you that much of a boost. It's going to be less boost than you imagine. It's not, because it's not quite like Slayer. All right, so with this team, let's see. So what kind of issue are you having? So you have 2 Master Collection cards and 2 event cards plus Ray. So that's going to give you quite a bit of power gems on turn 1. So you should be having no problems with turn 1. I think the challenge you're going to run into really is you're probably going to end up taking out the boss in some cases without the sufficient overkill. In that case, what you need to do is you need to adjust your deck a little bit. You need to either take out more relics or you need to take out your event cards. Leave 2 Master Collection cards in there and put in your support cards. I'm assuming you don't have the Ultra Rare card, but you do have 2 support cards. So what you should do is you should put the support card in there and then build up your skill points so that you could then use your Master Collection card to then build up multiple power gems to then take out the boss. That is, like with this team, I'm imagining you're not able to get the overkill on turn 1 because you probably fall just shy depending on your prestige level as well. But that's sort of the balance. You have to actually weaken your deck a little bit, but by weakening it for turn 1, you're actually making it more powerful for later turns. So that's my assumption, just based on the team I saw there. And I'm looking at your team here. It's funny, like I'm actually looking for the 2 Master Collection cards. I have 2 Ultra Rare cards, so we can trade if you like. I'll be happy to trade you so we can both get an ultimate form. But yeah, so I think based on that, the team I'm seeing right here, I would generally I would say this should be good enough for most of the teams. But the fact that you're asking me for questions means that you need to do a little adjustment, and so that would be the adjustment that I would recommend. Hopefully that gives you, hopefully that helps you and is able to get you that overkill bonus. Jeremy, is the Proving Grounds relics worth it? It totally is worth it, just because it is going to help you get more points. Well, let me rephrase that. It's helpful to get higher trophy, which then helps your guild get basically stay where you need to stay to get more coins. But if you don't care about that, if you're getting sufficient damage output already, then you should just keep those coins and get the choice, the Master Collection card choice coin, and then get one of the older Master Collection card or ultra rare cards with that. That might be better. And so, Candy's been, I gotta run. So, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you later. So I'm just catching up on the chat right now. So I'm looking at chats that's like from like 10 minutes ago. Sorry about that. So Noelia, welcome to here. And let's see. So Chroma sucks and Jeremy Rambo, no problem. And Rock for Life. Let's take a look. Rock for Life. Yeah, Jim Paulson, no problem. Hopefully that helps you. And Sundi, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us here. And stick around, and hopefully we can help you as well. All right. So I think what you said is teams 1, 2, and 3. Even 1, 2, and 3. I'm sure that's not the one you're talking about, right? All right. So event 2. So we've got the Revenge Source team here, basically with two Prometheus, Revenge Source, another Prometheus, and Engulf Pandora. So this is going to be a really, really strong team for noble bosses, and you have Laurel in there for the team. Now, I guess the problem is, how do we make it stronger for your? Wait a second. So Flame Bless Ultra. Oh, that's a support card. Rock for Life. I think you have it. I think you've got a great setup right there, right? So let's take a look at your Fire Commander, because I think what you've got going on here is you're taking advantage of the killer bonus from your Master Collection card, Prometheus plus another Prometheus, and also Revenge's Source. That's going to get you all the power gems you need to boost her attack, because she'll get the 200% attack. You can always put in Servants of Savagery. No, I'm just joking. Don't put her in there. I think that's about as good as I could imagine. Like, I wouldn't even put in Ray in here, just because I think you have a strong enough team. Because if you already have Revenge's Source, there's no reason to actually use Ray and another Slayer. Now, if you have the piggies, that would be a good team to use. But yeah, like Death Builds of Despair, while it's strong, I feel like you're going to get much better damage output using Revenge's Source. So you don't actually even need that option. Yeah, so if anybody has I forget the name of the ultimate form for the picks now, but basically that would be the one with Chaotic Killer bonus from the Fire Slayer event. So if you don't have a good deck this time around, you could also use that as an option so that you could get the killer skill, killer bonus for your Slayer card. So like that would be something to think about. So Rock for Life, team's good, looking good. I am happy about that. So I don't really have any suggestions, honestly, because you have to send the Ray Staff, and you've got the right relics in there, and you have 3 ultimate relics. I'm so jealous. No, I think this looks good. You should be killing it, to be honest. So let's see. Ideas matter. Can I talk about how to get stones for gauntlets? So the gauntlets that you're referring to for the Proving Grounds. So the stones that you're referring to are probably ones like once you get it to 6-star, you need it to get it to to this. So the bevel fire protectorites and all those other protectorites are going to be available in the crate. So when you go to the store, you can choose to spend it on the crates, and that is where you're going to potentially find the stone. But it's a random drop, so there's no there really is no guarantee, but that is where you get it. Like there's nowhere else to get those protectorites, only in the crate there. So Jeremy, so let's see. You were wondering about whether you wasted your coins on the Proving Grounds relic. Yeah, I think it's having used one, like I have one for myself, and I actually get a ton more scores that way. So every light event, I get a lot better scores. And I just feel like it's a good investing one isn't bad. Like I think that it's definitely something that you should work towards, but balancing between like whether you get the ultra rare card, master collection card, or getting the gauntlets, I think you want to balance it. You want to save some for your choice token as well, just so you have a choice to get something from that from that previous master collection card or ultra rare card. But remember, there are some that are not that great, okay? So there are definitely ultimate forms, which I feel like is just not quite worth the investment to get. And so, but like if you were to get like, the what's it? The Swine Lord strike team, that would be a good one. And I think that some of these are, don't get the Kill Drone one, okay? But Unbound Marionetta plus a Splinter Stalker, that is actually a decent ultimate form. And this is the one where you're not going to sacrifice. Like they have souls now for those, so then you're not going to lose anything. So those will be good. Any of these other ones here, if you spend on the cards, you're going to end up losing the cards there. But Sergeant Sausage is a chaotic killer card. Remember that. And so that would be useful in this particular event if you're looking for some sort of boost there. Okay. And so 1, 2, and Futured. I think that based on what I saw, I liked just this 1 and 2. I think that was perfect. And let's see. So Joseph Scott, Final Formation. Thank you so much. I couldn't remember because not having the card, I kind of forget about that. So Joe wants to know, did I skip you? Seriously? I thought I saw all of the lines. And so Hein Hama, I will go right back to you after I check out Joe want to know. There it is. Okay. I did skip you because it's so I apologize. Sometimes it's hard for me to see all of the messages there. Okay, so Vicar, Aymar Senior. And so the Fireball Yummy team. All right, so let's take a look at your Fireball Yummy team. Go to Team Fireball Yummy. Okay, so this team will work well, except you're losing out on the commander bonus, and so you probably are getting enough damage output from this deck on turn 1. So I would actually recommend give this a try, just to humor me a little bit. Okay, so you don't have any of the current event cards. Oh, but you have Laurel. Yeah, so here is what I would say. Give it a try. Just put Laurel in the team, okay? Put him on the team and see if you notice a damage increase just by putting him in there, because you're getting additional 10 commander bonus and you're getting additional 4 power gems on turn 1. So that added power gem plus the added 10 times bonus means you're getting 2.5 times additional damage output. And so that is probably going to more than make up for the fact that you are losing on this card, because this card isn't giving you anything. Like, you're not getting additional killer bonus, you're not getting additional power gem output from there. So you might consider trying that out just to see if just to see if you get some damage boost. So if that's the team you're running with, that would work just well. And let's take a look at your other Slayer options. So for Slayer, okay, you have Admiral, Applewood. Final Formation isn't a team that a lot of people have. Just unfortunately, it is one of the earliest. It is the earliest Fire Slayer deck, and it was back then. It was like runes system, and so not a lot of people were able to get the ultimate form. But that would have been a good one to use if you could have gotten that. But I think that based on what I'm seeing here, that would be the only improvement I could think of. Aside from that, based on what I'm seeing with your commander cards, this would be probably better than that would be a good choice to go with. Like I would just run that team because I feel like that would be a better choice than what you have anyway. So you could save some gens and you could use that team. All right, so the next person here, let's see, Hein Hama. Okay, so Hein Hama 85. Let's take a look and see what we got here. Okay, so we got Fire Slayer team, and this one uses Ray, but that's a Slayer team. Another sort of a Slayer combination. Wait, is that? Oh, that's just Sergeant Sausage. Okay, and then we got Ray with Thula and Altern. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look at your collection. Let's take a look at your collection here. So let's take a look with Commander first, and let's see what we've got. Okay. All right. So Stifling Pandora, Awakened. One quick suggestion I would give for future reference: there are certain support cards which would benefit not Awakened. So Stifling Pandora is one of these cards where you want to have as many copies of her actually, and because each card will actually provide a stack of persistence, which then adds to your eventual sort of power gems that you can create. So having just one, you're going to end up, it's not going to be enough. Like one support card isn't enough. This is the type of card, if you want to use it, where it requires at least 2. 3 is ideal, but at least 2. But since you have her awakened, you don't have that option anymore. She is available in this upcoming in this vault pack, but I wouldn't recommend spending gems just to get her. But what I'm seeing here is you have Ray and Quarrel. You might not have the crowns to ascend her, although I would recommend ascending if you can. All right, so let's see. So that's the commander. Let's take a look at your Slayer cards. So you got the Blitzkrieg Beast and Sergeant Sausage, Bacon Baron. Okay. So in terms of your Slayer deck, that isn't going to help either. And so you're probably going to be better off with the commander deck. And if you use commander deck, then you'll want to use... What would you use? So you got Ra, but you're lacking the Power Gem 4 creation cards. Okay. This is where then you'll definitely want to put in your Blitzkrieg Beasts. And I guess you might as well put in Merrick. So you can use Merrick, Blitzkrieg Beasts. Would you put in Ray? And I guess you put in Ray. Okay, so that's those 3. And then after that, you don't want to put in Stifling Pandora. You'll want to put in... You don't have good Gen Spawner either. But that's still better than Smoldosaurus, Accursed Aggregate. Bosco creates 2 Power Gem 1s. Not really that great of an option. 2 Flame Blessed Altern, I guess. So what you want, like what I'm thinking about here is whether or not it's worth it for you to simply go with the Slayer route. and I feel like it is. So if we go the Slayer route, you'll want to put in some commander in there. And if I look at, you know what? Put in Blitzkrieg Beast, Ray and Quirrell, Merrick the Brawn, and Sergeant Sausage. I think Sergeant Sausage creates 8 power gem once with 5 turn cooldown, so you're going to get, and it's because it's a chaotic killer card. So you want Sergeant Sausage, Blitzkrieg, Ray, Merrick, and then your support card Eltern. So let's see if you already have that as one of your setup. Because you might as well just go all in on your Slayer team rather than the Commander team that doesn't give you any power gem bonus. And so, and also, by the way, if you use this team, don't use the Bacon Baron as the leader because it only gives you guild versus guild bonus. It doesn't give you event bonus. Okay, so this is the team I would go with: Ray, Blitzkrieg, Merrick, Sergeant Sausage, and then Ultron. That would be the best team I can think of based on the cards that you have. That is going to give you the most damage output, even though you're using mostly Slayers. And what I see here is you are also lacking some relics there. So make sure you put in as many Slayer relics as you can to power up the team. Okay, so let's see. So Lena, you have a question that pertains to all events. Doesn't matter what order you put your relics. It should, not really. So the only thing that matters when it comes to relics is that it activates from left to right. And what you want to do is you want to put as many of the relics that are similar together. So if you put like all the different relics, what ends up happening is like it does kind of take a little bit longer in terms of animation. But other than that, there is no difference what order you put in. The only one exception I can think of is the revived relic from way back, the chakram. The thing I think what I heard is you have to put in the first slot for the revive to work, but otherwise I'm not sure if it matters. So Vishal, which one am I going to pick from the token if I have the if I were to go for it? I think I've been thinking about this a lot. So the two options I'm going with are sorry, press the wrong thing there. If I were to get one of the cards from the store, the card that I was thinking about originally was Sweet Savior. So it gives me, because it has this ability to, cast basically it makes the enemy's damage to be taken up by, additional 30%. But I already have the thing is I already have the K-pop deck. Right. So while you can argue that, well, I can use the K-pop deck and then the Innovator Drosmeyer Ultimate Form there, it has a cost. Like it's going to cost 50 skill points. And because of the recent changes to the Ultimate Gem spawning only at 300 skill point, it means that I'm never going to be able to activate this Ultimate Gem. And so I just don't feel like it's worth it for me. Instead, I think I might go with the I already have Bioloom, so I might actually go with this ultimate form here for Wave Mother. I'll have to get the Wave Mother Myleo, because take a look at this. This is pretty ridiculous actually. So if you take a look at my my relics, if we change it to Water Commander, I have 3 Water Commander Ultimate relics. And I don't have a single Water Commander Ultimate form. And this was when I tried, so this relic right here was when I tried to get the Nicole deck. And I pulled everything I could. All I pulled was relics, okay? I couldn't pull an ultra rare card for my life. But in any case, I have this ultimate relic as well. And I have Bioloom, and Bioloom is also pretty beefed up. So I have her 4 times awakened, and so she's not bad. She can create, by herself 6 power gem 4s, and then as an ultimate form she'll create more. There's no cost to the skill point, so I think that would be the one that I would go with, because I don't have any other teams I really would want to go with. Like the other option I could go with is to go with this one right here with Magma Ventrix, but the ultimate form isn't that great. Like this, the whole like I forget the term now. This was smoldering. The whole smoldering thing just isn't my favorite, so I wouldn't even want to use that. I could also get the Sky Swarm's Kachino. I have him as a like. I have a lot of Master Collection cards. What I don't have are the ultra rare cards. This one might be good. I don't have an Earth. I do have an Earth ultimate form now, so like I don't know if I would need to use that. So that would probably be my choice. Would be this right here. So long-winded answer, but that's the explanation for that. Okay. So let's see. So Sleepless, welcome, and Sea Creek, welcome, and thanks for joining us. And let's take a look. So Dedicant Gen Skyborn, right? Dedicant Gen Skyborn. All right, let's take a look and see. So you've got the Sunflare Mercenary, so you should have no problems here. I'm not sure if you have a question on like the issues that you're having, but one thing that I will say here is that with this kind of setup where you have Master Collection cards and the event card, I think depending on your prestige level, you will at some point run into a problem where you're killing the boss too early on turn 1, and then you don't get the opportunity to get the overkill that you need as the boss's health goes higher. And so what you'll have to start experimenting is reducing the number of relics so that you don't fill up the board as much. Or you might need to take out some cards so that you don't end up dealing too much damage. So that's the only thing I can recommend here. But given that you have a full team here, let me know what your questions is, because I'd rather go and help somebody who doesn't have the team, because that's what this stream was for. But I'm more than happy to help you understand, like, activation order or anything like that. So let's see. So Yusuf, Admiral Viper. Yeah, let's take a look. So you're currently using a Slayer deck, so you're probably going to be using like a very similar setup that I was already talking about. And so let's see. You also have Ascended Ray, so that's good. And let's see. So you have 2 support cards, and you have Laurel. And I'm not sure if putting Pandora in there is necessarily going to help you with anything. And so okay, so if you're using the Blitzkrieg Beast, keep in mind that you don't want to leave yourself without at least a second commander card. Like, it's going to make a big difference in terms of the damage output that you're going to have. And I also see that do you not have a lot of Slayer relics? Is that the reason why you have that? So let's take a look at your Fire Slayer relics. So you have 5 Slayer relics. You should be putting that, unless you're doing that because you are killing the bosses too early, but I don't think that's the case. So let's see what option you have in terms of the Fire Commander that you can put in there, because I don't think you need to put 2 ultra rare cards in there. I think you're actually losing out on damage there. So Ray, and then you should just put in at least Laurel. You should at least take out one of the cards in here. So let's say if this is the team you're using, you should get rid of Veta and you should replace that with Laurel. So you're going to, like, you'll see a big difference in your damage output. And you should put all, like, I'm not sure this is, I see GVG1 there, so I'm assuming that's not your real team. So I'm going to go and take a look at your other slots here. So that's Fire Slayer. Yeah, I would say you're going to do better. You're going to get better output if you put in Ray, take out one of your Vedas to put in Laurel, and then that way you at least get an option to deal some good damage with that team. And I don't think I saw Despots of Despair, otherwise I think you would have put it in there. So yeah, so that would be my recommendation for you. All right, and Mr. X, last relic is Slayer. Sorry, I don't have the context. I'm not sure. I missed something there. So me, myself, in 1100, got nothing but main and support cards. In-game name is Prince Chuck U. Farley. So if you don't have anything except for main and support, you should still have some other options. So let's take a look there. So Prince, Chuck, Hugh Farley. Okay, so, well, you have Revenge of Source, so there's that, right? So you should be running that team no matter what, I think. And you have Despots of Despair, and then you have Revenge of Source. So what you should be doing is you should be using the Revenge of Source team for anything that is human. And then for anything that's not human, then you should simply put in, I'm going to hope that you have Ray Ascendus, so you should have no problem here. So let's see if you already did that. So I've explained this to a few people already. You should have this as your setup, okay, for your Slayer. So basically for Chaotic Killer, put in Despots of Despair, Rodash, Ray. Okay, so that's the first thing to do. And you could potentially put in a fourth Ray in there, or you could put in, for your commander, put in Revenge's Source, and also put in Prometheus, because that gives you the most it gives you the most amount of commander bonus plus the power gem creation. So you could also choose to put in just Revenge's Source and then put in fourth Ray, so you get four Slayers and then one commander in there. But you don't, like, you have two really good teams, two really good setup already with that, so you don't need this event deck, right? If you're just running with event and support cards, like Revenge's Source is great for power gem creation, and Prometheus as well. You are going to be losing a little bit of damage if you're not using Laurel. So Laurel is 10 commander bonus, and so you could consider actually Revenge's Source and Laurel with Ray, and then put in the Despots of Despair plus Rodash. So that is going to give you, I think, the best output for damage against the Chaotic Killer, basically in the main bosses, and then Revenge's Source for anything human. I think you'll be fine. Basically, based on what I'm seeing, that you have two deck options there without requiring the current event deck here. So Daki, if you could let me know what your in-game name is. So Yusef, if you were to use Loris Eyesight, do you need to equip any commander relics? If you're using mostly Slayer, then no, you want to equip all Slayer relics. So take a look at my team. The situations where you want to use all Slayer is when you're depending on when your Slayer card has the killer bonus. If your Slayer card has the bonus, then you want to use all Slayer relics there, and you don't want to put in any commander relics. Even if you have a commander card in there, you don't want to sacrifice your damage output from that. Sorry, this one. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to do purely commander, unless you're using the Slayer card as a support card type that gives you a lot of power gems to power up your commander deck. Then you want to put in all commander relics. I'm not a big fan of mixing commander and Slayer relics, even though they're the same affinity, because that dilutes the amount of skill points you can create. And it's all about tying your relics to your ultimate form. If you have an ultimate form with a with a killer skill that's activated, don't dilute your power. Put in the right relic for it, and you're going to maintain your damage output from that. So Daki, I need you to tell me what your in-game name is. I can't check your deck if I don't know how to get to your team. So hopefully that, but I think I've answered most of your questions that everybody who's asked. All right, so I don't think I showed. I did show it. So for those of you who might have joined earlier, so take a look here, right? So like if I'm using if I use the team that I mentioned, if I'm using Slayer, now the problem I think if I'm using this team right here, I might end up taking out the boss without overkill. Let's see. So, okay, I will. I just jumped into a fight. I will take a look at your deck afterwards, and then I think I will sign off after that. It's 9:51 right now. It's been about an hour and 20 minutes. That's actually longer than I had anticipated. All right, so let's see how much damage we. Yeah, so this is going to be really close. I feel like I'm gonna be just under. Yeah, I got just under 100%. So like because I don't get the killer bonus, right? So yeah, just under. So it's not going to be ideal for these legend bosses, but it will work really well against bosses that have, like not this one because that is that requires chaotic killer. But no, it does require chaotic killer. So no, I need noble killer. So anyways, so that's sort of like my point here. Like you can use that Slayer deck for pretty good results actually. All right, so this is going to be my last. I will jump in here, but then this will be the last one. So devil. Okay, level 192. I'm not sure if that matters. Okay, so you have. I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of awakening support cards, to be honest with you, because you're actually losing out on your mana. Like you're using mana and you're not getting sort of that return on your investment. Mana is a resource that's difficult to obtain a lot of, and so you don't want to use that. All right, so you've got the Revenge Source team, so I don't think I need to teach you how to use that. I think you'll be fine right there. Now the question is, what do you have for the other side? Okay. So with this setup here, let me see. You may not actually. Well, I guess you do need the support card to dispel, but let's take a look here. Revengeosaurus and Prometheus is an obvious choice, and another Prometheus. I feel like. So, for your team that I'm seeing here, you might want to consider just taking one of the Laurel cards out and replacing it with Prometheus, unless like. Yeah, you're gonna be okay taking out one of the Laurel cards and putting your shiny Prometheus, or if you don't want to, at least replace this one with the shiny Prometheus, because the shiny Prometheus actually has more damage. It has higher stats, so you're gonna be able to deal more damage with that. If you don't want to change anything, at least switch that out. But I think based on what I'm seeing here, you have options there, and let's take a look at your Slayer option. Oops. So for Slayer, I think that you don't have a great choice there. So based on what I'm seeing here, you have the Noble Killer bonus, and then for this one, if you're not using the support card here, Altern for the spell or for the immunity, then I would just put in another Prometheus. Like when in doubt, put more power gems in there to boost your team as much as possible. That would be my recommendation. Okay, so hopefully that helps, and I think with that is pretty much everybody that had asked for help here. And so that is going to be it for the stream here. I wish I could show you guys, the full team and how it works, etc., but I couldn't pull it. And so I'm going to try tomorrow when they refresh the shop, and hopefully that's going to be a little bit better. But until then, I will see you next time, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to come out with the top 5 best ultimate forms. I'm hoping to do this before the next event. So keep posting on that one. Thanks a lot for your time, everybody. Thanks for joining me in this stream, and hope you have a good event. I'll see you next time. Take care.